Hey, good evening. I apologize for that, but good evening, everybody. Great show prepared for tonight. Um, my illustrious co-host is here this week, and we definitely missed her face last week. We had some technical difficulties on my end, so we weren't able to do a show. So, but tonight we got a very interesting show prepared. Um, we're going to talk about non-traditional marriages and relationships. One of the things about tradition is we're going to come from a place of two people that was born in a Western tradition, Western, African American culture. Nikki has some experience living in another culture, not as an adult but as a child. So she can probably shed some light on just seeing certain things as well as myself, um, coming from a spirituality aspect. And Nikki had wanted to do this show. So what's up, Nikki?
I'm good. And nothing's up. Everything's good. It's what? What's today? Wednesday? We halfway there.
We halfway there.
We're halfway there.
I know that you at last week you had wanted to discuss about Umar Johnson. He had did a fashion show, and in the fashion show it was like him having two wives. He had said something real slick at the end, and it kind of like had the it was trending. Twitter was going crazy. Instagram was going crazy talking about Dr. Umar, and
Hmm.
basically he had came out a couple days after that, and he had explained that it was for a fashion show.
Right.
But also we see Nick Cannon with these multiple children with multiple women. So this
Hmm.
falls under the aspect of a non-traditional relationship because this is something maybe not as known as most people may appear to be. Or I was with this young lady and we had kids, and I kept going to a different young lady. He literally has multiple children by multiple women. And he said he's not going to stop as long as he
Right.
can continue making them. As well as comedian D Ray Delray
Right.
Davis.
Yeah, he said
He
he's
has two girlfriends.
hmm
Um,
hmm
so I know that you had wanted to address this.
Yeah, I think that our culture, the Western culture, is that and such, that these things seem like to be a foreign concept to us. And our traditional unions are husband and wife, or now it could be a wife and a wife, or a husband and a husband. So these things are what our, what we deem as a relationship. But I thought it was interesting when he did the, was it like a fashion show or
It was a
something?
fashion show.
It was
Yes.
a fashion show, and although it was, a fashion show, and he did it that way, I think that I wanted to speak on it because it's something that is actually more prevalent now than I think people actually want to admit or realize. So that was the whole reason why I decided to do this. That on top of the Nick Cannon and having, and I know he has his reasons for doing what he's doing. But whenever you bring this subject up for whatever reason, it becomes a heated subject. And there are pros to me and cons in those traditional and non-traditional unions. So that's why I
In
decided
the
to bring it up.
United States, to have multiple spouses is illegal.
Mm-hmm.
In Utah, it's at one time it was illegal. Then at one time in Utah, they would just give you a traffic ticket, like a
Mm-hmm.
traffic ticket for having more than one wife. But legally, you can only get one marriage per license. So
Mm-hmm.
technically, it is still illegal. So it's illegal in all 50 states. You can't even marry. You know how people, and for the sake of the algorithm, we're not going to talk about that. But
Right.
even people that marry animals or all types of stuff, or people that's not living, or what they consider ghost marriages, where people marry on behalf of other people.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff in the United States isn't legal. And I think that one of the biggest misconceptions, like Nikki said, is with marriages that are legal in the United
Mm-hmm.
States. Those of us that have been married legally, it is a legal document. It is. Most people may not realize, it may seem easy to get divorced, but legally, you are intertwined with that person when you're married. Not just, you could be separated or whatever, but I think that most people get married under the premise of not just the emotional, the fall in love, but you got to understand. We have to understand that traditionally in this country, it is a legal thing to get married. Like, this is not like your marriage certificate is sacred, just like your birth certificate
Mm-hmm.
in this country. So we need to understand that in tradition and law and spirit, why some people get married in polygamous relationships and for spirituality and so forth.
So I have my own thoughts about it. While it is illegal.
Someone in the chat said their opinion. I don't know who you are in the chat, because you got to give StreamYard permission to use your name, but it is no. If you have an opinion about the topic, it's your opinion. You
Right.
shouldn't say your opinion is unpopular. Nikki and myself, we did some research on the topic, so it'll be very interesting for anybody in the chat who wants to share about it. Share about it. I mean, we're entering a society in the United States where it is legally to get married, but marry someone of the same sex. So we may traditionally not be used to it, or seem strange to saying it, or see strange to say that a person may, well, why that person got three wives or whatever. But we're going to talk about legally and traditionally and
Well, I think one of the things,
urbanly, as we would say in the
yeah,
urban
I think
culture.
Quinn, one of the things too is that we have been conditioned or trained, to believe certain things, and so I think that when people are traditionally, you know, they're um they're trained or they're conditioned to think one way. That's the only way that they think, and so a lot of times most people don't broaden out and think in terms in other ways, and so I feel like in order to kind of understand, you have to be open to it. A lot of times people just aren't open. to understanding non-traditional relationships. So
So I know we both did some research, and I'm going to read one of the definitions. What is polygamy? Explain to us in the chat what is polygamy, Nikki.
well, I mean, polygamy is just, it says poly, then it's gammy. It's just marrying multiple people. It's so instead of having one
No, 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 no.
spouse
A
or one
man
mate.
marrying multiple women.
No, polygamy is the marriage of multiple people. So you have men, that's polygamy. And then you have the polyandry. So you have women that do it too, which was interesting when we started doing a little bit of research. Now, me personally, that was kind of like my, because traditionally we always hear men marrying uh, multiple women, but in this particular case, what I found out was that there are other cultures that have women that marry multiple men.
Now, what Nikki is saying is a polyandrous marriage is when a woman is married to more than one man at the same time.
I'm here
Polyand-
for it.
Polyandry typically has less to do with the female power, but more so in African societies, where it is practiced is born out of socioeconomic necessity. For instance, a woman may need more than one man in order to handle all the duties around the home, farming, cattle, rearing, shepherding. Among the Lili people of the Congo, because young girls tended to be betrothed to older women, the younger men could make a request to the village elders that they may be given a common wife. A common wife they would share wives with another man.
So we're talking about traditionally in the African culture, but also when we looked it up, it's in other cultures like Nepal, Tibet, and this is for women to marry, and they said they can marry up to 5 men. So when you start digging, there's so many layers to that, because I think when women want to start, or if when you marry multiple partners, there are multiple reasons behind it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. You're correct. The I think that and you could correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I have limited of understanding of U.S. law, but I think that when the country was formed in the Constitution,
mhm.
they were what we would consider a Christian society, um,
Mhm.
and they probably at that time based it off a strict society based off of what they knew, and the law was based off of that. Most people don't know that adultery is actually against the law. This is
Mhm.
why if you get divorced and you can prove that the person committed adultery, it will weigh in your divorce decree or whatever.
Mhm.
It'll weigh in a lot of things. Nikki, stop looking at me like that.
No, because I'm like, okay, let's take all the religion out of it.
No,
Let's
no, no,
let's get to the meat
because
of it,
I
though.
think that a lot of people don't know that what her question was. So the laws are made to accommodate the ruling body of government.
Right.
Is that how um the tradition in this country was based off of religion?
Mhm.
Now we've gotten to a society where, in the era a second ago, it was separation of church and state, and now it's even going even further away from quote unquote tradition, which would be religion,
Right.
a religious aspect. So now it's basically you want to get married to whoever you want, you get married to whoever you want, but polygamy and polygamy is still not legal in the aspect that we would think it was legal.
Okay. So that's that. We talking about legal as far as like laws, like it,
Yeah.
and you're talking about the Christian aspect of it. But when we start talking about non-traditional marriages and relationships, and you start getting to the meat of things, um, there are some benefits to me personally. I'm not a traditionalist in that sense. Um, I feel like that there will be benefits to it. Everybody may not agree with me. It's my personal opinion. Um, I think that for a woman, there are definitely benefits to being in the situation. Because
What do
as
you
a woman,
mean?
well, I feel like, okay, so everybody always goes to the sexual aspect of being in arrangement. However, take that out of the equation because there are layers to this. So if you're in a union, take the sexual part out of it. And there are some people that are in that, in relationships with, well, what did Jada say? Like thruples and all this other stuff. So when you really start
entanglement,
entanglement, whatever you want to call it, when you really think about it, is it that bad? Because let's say that one of the other partners has a strength that the other partner doesn't have. I mean, we're so conditioned to believe that, hey, you need one person, but can one person actually do it? Like I said, I think that it's multiple benefits for a woman, especially a woman that has children, a young woman, and that needs assistance. The husband, like if the husband is making all the money and the woman is at home with the child, is it such a bad situation?
Also, you would think that if in that situation a woman would say to her husband, we need extra help around the house or whatever, or assistance around the house. You can get a co-wife, or you should allow me to get a co-husband that can help with these bills or whatever.
Hey, no. So here's my prerequisite to that. If this is me, now I can't speak for everybody, but if I'm in that kind of situation, and traditionally it talks about a man with power, prestige, and money that is able to do that. So that means that if this man takes multiple wives, or if he has that these wives are taken care of. So, the concept may sound good to a lot of people, but there are things behind it. You can't just take 5 wives and be a deadbeat. You got to be able to provide for all 5. And I mean, whether you're looking at it from a religious standpoint or you're looking at it from a basic standpoint, you can't just have 5 wives. I mean, so and splitting bills, I mean, to each his own, but I feel like if I'm in that situation, I don't know, Quentin, I don't know about splitting. I'm sorry. It's just not, it may or may not work.
So for the sake of giving a little bit more context, we're going to show a video, but I got to do my copyright disclaimer. So the video I'm going to show, it falls under the Copyright Disclaimer Act of Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for the purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
One woman, several husbands. It's an unusual arrangement. Today, polyandry only persists in isolated villages in the Himalayas. When it was time for Sunita Kumari to wed, her family, like many in India, made arrangements. But they involved more than a dowry in the celebration. Sunita has not one husband, not 2 husbands, but 3, all brothers. What must her life be like? Westerners might find the practice shocking, but for this community it works fine. One reason, sheer practicality. In the Himalayas, arable land is scarce, farms are tiny. If each generation divided each family's holdings, everyone would starve. Polyandry preserves the farm and the family's future. Unlike most men in India, husbands here handle domestic duties. They're willing to help with the cooking and childcare. In fraternal polyandry, a family picks a wife for its oldest son. The marriage can also include his younger brothers. They don't have to join in, but most do.
No one takes a decision regarding one's own marriage. Everyone at home sits down together, and then it is decided with the consent of everyone.
Polyandry also functions as a form of birth control. No matter how many husbands she has, a wife can get pregnant only so often. If each man were to wed separately, the population here would explode. But what about sex, the forbidden core of the polyandry taboo? In truth, it's a matter of scheduling, and on the wife's part, forbearance.
Tolerance is very important. The wife has to understand everything. The older brother's nature, the younger brother's nature.
What about jealousy, that bane of even the most mundane marriage?
If the wife is smart, she will take turns each night and sleep with all the brothers. It's not like the older brother wants her the whole time.
Until recently, no one here much cared what the outside world thought. Isolation had preserved a way of life that had withered everywhere else. But a road now links the region to distant cities. And on roofs, once decorated only with prayer flags, satellite dishes sprout. This village has entered the modern world, whose images of romance stand in sharp contrast to polyandry. But polyandry here faces a bigger threat: education.
As more people are becoming more educated, we are also practicing family planning. If a father has only one son, there will be no question about the land. Therefore, common marriages will come to an end.
Right.
In 2, perhaps 3 generations, polyandry may vanish here. But for now, those who practice it find comfort in the familiar.
I myself feel that common marriage is very good. I feel like everyone should live like our family. Even if we do not have anything to eat or drink, we sit happily, we live peacefully.
Okay.
So that's that, you guys. We wanted to show the video so maybe people can get an understanding of sometimes in villages and in certain areas, when you're not influenced by other traditions, a tradition that you may have been doing for a couple thousand years may still be followed. It isn't like sometimes because we were born in the Western tradition and follow a Western tradition way of thinking, we sometimes think is, oh, that's barbaric or that's this, that, and the third. And with lack of understanding brings about a lot of ignorance. This is my personal opinion. So I think that we should we may not understand or believe it for our own selves, but this is what works for other people. As they say, what you eat don't make me, you know.
Look,
And
let's
so
get
forth.
to it. So the jealousy and the emotion, that's really what triggers a lot of people when they start talking about having multiple relations. Normally women can't deal with it. Normally it's a man thing. That's why I'm glad you showed the video of a female. However, I would have some issues with scheduling. I mean, you just got to schedule your time out. But then again, if you think about it, depends on what phase in life you at, because scheduling might not be so bad. But and it's noted that they all have to be brothers, and it's for a certain purpose or whatever the case may be. But yeah, scheduling. And I see it's funny because when I was looking up the stuff, it didn't talk about the sexual aspect of it. But I think a lot of times people are just jealous and they have emotions. And I was speaking to someone earlier about the subject today, and they were like, well, I just don't think that I could deal with someone else being, with my mate. And I'm like, hey, after a certain point, come on, because to be honest with you, I mean, Quinn, you've been married. You're married. You've been married before, what? And I've been married. I just think that people don't really understand the logic behind marriage.
I think that you're right. I think that we have one of the biggest problems in our tradition in America is some of us have a fairy tale way of thinking about marriage.
Yeah,
I'm gonna marry this. I'm gonna fall in love, and we're gonna have a picket fence, cat, and a dog, and we're gonna live happily ever after. And the
right.
reality is that you may grow away from that person. You may grow that y'all may fall out of love, and because this is what y'all married under the premise of, y'all may go y'all separate ways. Like marriage, literally in America, is a business transaction.
I don't necessarily agree with the whole
It
business
is.
part
Oh,
of it. I don't agree with the business part of it. However, I think I do believe that, you know, when you start signing all the papers and everything, your stuff is connected to their stuff and so forth and so on. Yeah, your stuff is connected. But when we start thinking about it in terms of, okay, I think a lot of times when people get married, that person is theirs and they belong to them. And, you know, so I told the person earlier, I said, I think this is my opinion. And again, my opinion is not law. Man, after about 5 to 10 years of being in that marriage, I think everybody should just get a pass because and people don't feel like me. And I understand that people don't feel like me. But I think what happens is, and for some people, they can cling to that one person. And I think that they feel like that person is everything for them. But I think after a certain amount of time, like, real, I don't care what you want to eat. I really don't when I get home. I'm gonna be honest.
But see, let
her figure out what you want to eat.
Let me a woman of a certain age, right, and a man of a certain age get to the point where me and you about the same age.
Mhm.
So our thoughts and our views from 20 years ago is totally different now. And this is why the marriage rate in America is so high. One of the reasons is because like I said, we have this fairy tale way of thinking what marriage is and not
Mhm.
understanding it's a business arrangement. It's I always try to call relationships or any marriage, it is two imperfect people trying to live perfectly together. So, and in your theory that your value always say is you don't know nobody until you live with them.
Right.
So you may get all the bells and whistles, and this guy is just the greatest, and he take care of business and do this and do that. And then when you decide that y'all want to take it to another level, and you live with him, like this is permanent residence. Oh,
That's why you can get 4 more. I like the idea of getting 4 more.
see, and you don't have a problem with the idea. You
Right.
you understand that the value of time and being able to
Like I told you.
give you your space. You in the other room, just leave me alone. I'm in the
That's
other
it.
room.
Like I told you, look, what if and I think this is the problem that I always have when we start talking about stuff like this. As a woman, what if I decide to say, I'm gonna get this young guy for what I need this young guy for. You know, he got a strong back, he's gonna cut the grass, he's gonna do all of these things that I need for him to do. But then I got an older guy who's more stable. He just, the older guy just really wants some companionship, and every now and then he wants you to grind on him or whatever the case may be. But when you think about it, it's like he just wants certain things. But what you got, so if a female has that capability, if a woman has that capability to do that, I think we always look at it and in terms of a man and a man being able to do it. And that's another reason why I wanted to bring it up, because I don't understand what the issue would be for a woman to do it. Now it would go back into that whole men don't like it because you got women have innies and outies, but apparently the women that live in Tibet or Nepal, they don't care. But think about it in American culture. People that are married cheat all the time. So if you're out here and you're cheating versus if you already have your set 5 or your starting 5 wives or your starting 5 husbands, it eliminates a lot of the mess. Just my thoughts.
I can't say I disagree with you. I think that one of the issues is that once again, when you go back to we're of a certain age. Now, at a certain age, and I can see everybody in the chat when they put their comment up. Like we are to the point where we want our space. I'm gonna go do what I do, and you could do that, and it'd be no problem. However, are we teaching our kids the same values that we have now? Because that's the only way. And the younger generation don't view life the way we look at life now.
They don't even view marriage the same way that we view marriage. A lot of them don't have the same. Now they'll have kids, but they won't get married. And I say that all the time. People go out and have a whole bunch of kids together, like Nick Cannon or whatever, and they don't get married. You said it's hard to get a divorce. I disagree.
I'm not saying it's hard to get a voice, but a divorce. I'm saying what I mean by hard. I mean most people don't understand it. It is a business arrangement, and it's a legal doc. It's legal. It's legal. It actually holds more weight when you talk about documentation wise.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
your
and
birth
that aspect of it.
certificate, your death certificate, your marriage certificate is the three top documents.
Yeah,
It
but
holds
people
more. It
always
holds
talk
more weight
about.
than your license. Just put it that way.
I think people always get so concerned. Oh, I'm be trying to listen. I think, well, you know my stance on it. Look, you had kids with somebody, you stuck with them for life. I can go to the courthouse and pay $150 and be done with it, unless we have property together, unless we have that kind of stuff. And then I mean, like, look at what Dr. Dre is going through right now. Unless it's that kind of situation where you got, you know, money. I mean, personally, I think when we start talking marriage and multiple people and things like that, people just tend to, oh, you need to get that together. You good over there? You good?
I'm good.
Okay. All right.
I'm good.
We back.
So I think that's where the like I said, the misunderstanding happens, and then they get to 25, 26 and be like, oh, I done made a commitment to be with that person for the rest of my life.
Hey,
Oh
that's when you can
no.
switch it up.
And
Get
then they
you
be
another
like,
one.
then you know they be born again. They be born again. It's like, oh,
But
I'm
think
born
about it.
again.
Is it so bad? Is it so? I think again, it is the
So do you believe that every situation should just be fluid?
160. You may just open arms like
I mean, just fluid. Just whatever floats your boat, floats your boat. And
no, I
nobody worry
think
about
that with
nobody. Just do
anything,
you.
there needs to be rules and there needs to be guidelines. Like, but my thing is, again, going back to the tradition. Oh, yeah, a man can have multiple people, but I think it should be open. Like, okay, if women want to do it too. But see, that's part of what we were talking about before. Men are not going to be open to that. Men aren't open to it. What man you know?
I don't
Any
know.
men on the
I don't,
chat, are
like I
y'all
said,
open to having being in a situation?
like I said, I don't know no men that know what that even term means. I think that some people will get in any situation, and no matter what they care about, if they get into it, they get into it. You have people, we may say that swingers might as well be married. They might be all types of stuff. You got people that marry. I don't think, Nicole, it's a double standard. I think that
It is a double standard. It's a double standard, Quentin. Come on, man. It's really a double standard because it's okay. The minute you start talking about men having multiple women, it's fine. It is very rare that you hear about a woman having multiple men. It's a double standard.
This is why I said this is important that we understand. We grew up in Western society. Western society from the beginning was taught man, woman, child. When the Constitution was formed, it came man, woman, and child, preferably white man, woman, and child.
But even so, man, woman,
as
and
things are
child.
progressing to this day, you could have in multiple states a same-sex marriage and all this other stuff. I know that a lot of you young ladies think that it is a double standard. It is men that literally will be a side piece to a woman.
Don't start.
It is men that will be, I'm just a side piece. That's my cougar. It's men that do that. It's young guys that do that.
Really?
I'm being honest. I know that we think that it's a double standard.
No.
And the reason why you guys are saying that in the chat, and I'm gonna put y'all comments up.
Yeah, because when we
is because no, this is the reason.
It's
because society traditionally has always said that if a woman has multiple sex partners, she's an H word.
No,
listen. Nowadays, like I said, we're moving away. This society is moving away from traditional.
No, we're not. No, we're not. We're not. Because if a female would have went out and did the same exact thing that Nick Cannon did and had multiple babies by multiple men, it would not have been okay.
Okay.
It would not have been okay. If y'all would have been saying, "Oh, look at her,"
let me explain something to you.
Memes up. It would have been saying, "Look at her
no.
little Irish twins." Come on.
Honestly, let me explain. we did it. We could say we did a case study on the Nick Cannon thing. Some people don't have a problem with Nick Cannon having multiple children because they feel as though he can afford it. He got the money, so he should be able to do what he want to do. If he was an average Joe, they'd have a problem with it, which I think is crazy. If you have a problem with that, well, now we're saying financially you could do what you want to do once you're quote unquote rich.
That's what most people think.
Listen, when Keke Wyatt had all those kids, there was not men killing her. It was women killing her. It's women that attacked her. It's not men attacking that young lady. It is women attacking her. Talking about she ain't done yet.
No,
she
but
worn out.
Didn't she have most of her kids by her husband though?
But I'm just saying in general. But women, let me tell you.
She had most of her kids by her husband. If she had went out and had 3 baby daddies in the span of a couple of years, it would have not have been okay. They would have been saying, "Oh, look at her. She got 3 baby daddies and so many kids." It's wait a minute. What a woman to have a that is. Has nothing to do with a man wanting multiple. Yeah, men can't fathom. Western men cannot fathom their female having 5 men. They can't. But if Keke Wyatt would have had 5, I don't know how many kids she has, but if she would have had 5 kids, if she would have said this year I'm gonna have a child, I'm gonna have kids, and she would have had twins in 1 year, turned around, got with another man, and had another child the next year, and they would have been all 9 months apart. And let's say she would have had an Asian set of kids, she would have had a black set of kids, and let's say she would have had her some Indian set of kids. It would have been a really big deal.
But let me explain this to you. You saw, and you will see more women attack. And I understand y'all may feel like it's a double standard. I disagree, but it's okay, right? But you will have more women attack another women than a man will. I mean, we see it every day. Women will hold each other more to a higher standard. Now you may hear that's the girl code or whatever, but women was dragging Keke Wyatt. They was dragging her.
That's because she's right. Like if she had them kids by, I don't know, maybe it was how many she had. But I'm saying let's take it away from how many. Let's say okay, that the women were dragging for having that many kids. But if she would have had multiple kids by multiple men, the men would have chimed in too. The men would have chimed in. Because men have this thing, and I have several guy friends. It's something about the woman, like, yeah, we just watched the video of the women in Nepal or Tibet, and their standards.
Mind you, the video we just watched, you guys in the chat, I don't know if you could hear it good. Well, she was married to brothers.
Yeah, because that's what
it wasn't no jealousy. Now let me ask you, Nikki, do you think that it wasn't no jealousy because it wasn't no Western influence?
Probably. I think Westerners, like, we just have this thing of it's mine. That's a normal way of life for them. That's how they, Now,
Miss B said, now Keke got 9 with 3 fathers. See, Nikki, you see that face you just made? That's the judgmental face.
Hey, but she got the money, and it was what you just said. She got the money. The money.
But look, that's the judgmental. If she didn't have money,
I wasn't judging. I'm just saying a lot of times, and I didn't even know that men was like people were judging.
I'm just
her.
asking you, was that an involuntary act you just made? Your facial expression.
I didn't know that it was 3 different fathers, but even so, they were dogging her. But Nick Cannon
when I put the comment up, when I put the comment up, did you react?
No, I didn't know. But what I'm saying is, so Nick, but Nick, no, look, but Nick gets a pass. Nick gets a pass though.
Oh, you're doing a lot of explaining right now. You're doing a lot of explaining.
No, look. Oh, Nick is sick, and he's this, and that, and give him a pass, and he can have these twins.
I don't judge people, right? I try not to be judgy.
Everybody has a smidget of judgment.
Nick, I guess Nick can handle that. I mean, I don't know why he's doing it. I know they said he's sick, bone marrow, whatever. But he does seem like he loves his kids. I mean, he's going for what he knows, I guess. I don't know.
It works apparently for him and the women that he's dealing with. again, it always goes back to, I think if you flip it and you take a woman.
Terrence, let me ask you, because you said something key. I mean, the cultural thing with where culture meets tradition. We like I said, we follow a tradition that we probably weren't used to from our ancestors probably was like, huh? Like, why we got to be married to one woman or whatever if that wasn't the tradition when they was brought over here? So we follow a tradition of man, one wife, kids, picket fence, whatever, And now we people are, I won't say progressing, people are getting back to old traditional ways, leaving certain things that they were raised on. And it's more like now people feel like polygamy and other stuff is the norm, and that's what they want to do.
Look, if I was married, traditionally married right now, I'm gonna be, look.
See what I'm saying? We got somebody in the comment being honest.
Don't try to put your bias thing.
No,
it's
don't
try to put your little bias comment. Put all of the comments.
No, I ain't putting all the comments. I'm putting all the comments.
Yeah.
10, not Kiki has 10 kids.
But Kiki got money.
3, no. Why does the money make a difference?
It made a difference when it was Nick Cannon. It made a difference when it was Nick Cannon.
And I'm not saying men do it or just women do this. People look at Kiki Wyatt crazy.
That's because is it because she has an innie and not an outie? Is it okay?
I don't know. I to be perfectly honest with you, if you show me a picture of Kiki Wyatt, I would not know who she is.
What?
And I'm dead serious. And the only reason why I know who she is,
look that up when you get off this phone.
No, the only reason I know who she is because pictures and stuff. But I wouldn't be able to be like, that's her. I don't even know what she does.
Really?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to have a music lesson because this is not okay. This is so not okay. I don't even we're gonna skip over that. So now I'm going to the next layer. My thing is it so bad if you have an extra person in the house? Let's say you don't want to pick the kids up and you have like somebody that wants to pick the kids up. They want to cook dinner. I may come home. I may not want to speak. Let her go talk to you. Let this person deal with you.
So what about in the case, like you said, for rearing children, if you may be like, you know what, baby, I can't have no more kids. I know you want some more kids. We're gonna go, you can have another wife.
What?
You may be you may say like, I know you want a bigger family. I can't have no children. And I want you to be able to have children, and
that means. But wait a minute, it depends. If you can't have none, do I want some? Because I may not want to have to deal with kids in the house. If that's the case, take that person. But I need me a side house. I don't want to be in the same house.
So let me ask you: Are we viewing marriages and relationships the wrong way? Are we viewing them as an ownership?
Yeah, I think a lot of people view them as ownerships. Because most of the time when people get married, the first thing that's my husband, that's my wife. So I think that.
So Kiki worth $5 million?
Man, let me tell you something. Yeah.
Listen, you guys, we're gonna reset the show for a second. One of the things that we do on the channel is that every Thursday we have a show, and we're gonna have a giveaway tonight to promote one of our other shows. And I'm gonna show you guys the giveaway, and then I'm gonna explain how you can win the giveaway tonight. All right. So next Thursday we having a big show. It's going to be called Crown. The show is based off of the book Crown Rules 3, Queen, How Black Women Love. The giveaway is the first and second book of the Crown Rules series. One Crown Rules 1 is A Woman's Journey to the Throne, and Crown Rules 2 is How Black Men Love. In order to participate in the giveaway, all you have to do is put hashtag Crown Rules. It don't have to be capitalized. It just has to be that in the chat. That's all you have to do is just put it one time in the chat, and once we do the giveaway, you'll just email me at ltalk5600@gmail.com, and I'll get the books out to you as soon as possible. So, but that's for the giveaway. Hashtag Crown Rules. Just put that in the chat, and that's how you win the book. That's how you get the book. So, as you were saying, Nikki,
I personally think that it is a double standard. I think that I should be able to pick 5. If I'm a being, I'm gonna pick my other 4 counterparts. I'm gonna pick them, and I'm gonna pick them, and we're gonna have a serious sisterhood. Because on the nights that I don't want to cook, I'm gonna say get your ass in there and cook. On the nights that I don't want to pick the kids up,
so you saying you would pick the multiple wives?
quite possibly. I don't want to put myself out there, but I would pick them. I just think that after a certain amount of years, you've been with somebody, and a lot of women don't think like me. That's why I say it's okay. You've been with somebody 5 to 10 years, and you keep staring at them, and they keep staring at you, and you keep staring at them. After 10 years, that's why a lot of times people, and a lot of times people ain't gonna be honest. A lot of people cheat. They cheat because they're lacking something. They're bored, and I personally don't think that one person can fulfill everything in a person. I think we have been conditioned to believe that, but I think after a certain point, like, you really think one person is going to be your end all?
When the person that just did that from Facebook, when you do the hashtag, don't put nothing else on the line. Just put hashtag Crown Rules. Don't put no other words on the line, because it might not come up that you won.
Mm-hmm.
Once we do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I find it interesting. I know that
most women don't want to share, Quentin, but I'm gonna be honest with you, they sharing, and they don't even know they sharing. It's my opinion.
Say that again.
A lot of people don't want to share, but they are sharing unknowingly. They're sharing anyway. Let's keep it a buck, like, for real. A lot of people out here sharing. They don't know, and some of them know, and they mad because they can't do nothing
So
about
Kenya,
it.
you said as the head wife, I make the rules,
right?
So basically, as me and Nikki would say, you would be the bottom.
That's right. That's right. That's my other wife right there. That's it right there. Nah, man, come on. Look, you gonna pick the kids up? I'm gonna pick the kids up. What are we doing? And a lot of times people don't want to admit. They already know. Somebody's eyes start straying, somebody something, whatever. And a lot of times somebody's stepping out. If at some point their eyes start wandering. It's like what I said on one of the shows before. You messed around and got the same old saltine cracker for how many, like 10, 15 years? I think everybody should get a pass after 10 years. At 10 years, you get to add one. And then after every 5 years after, you get to add another one. And then boom, there you go. But I'm saying that not so I could be a part of somebody's 5. I want my 5. I want 5 husbands. Like, I could do that. I ain't saying that I'm a slave at the time.
Hey, look, nobody's pushing me anyway, okay? I mean, not you, not the cops, nobody, man.
Look,
I mean, you want to get rid of the pushes, I'll help you. But don't send your people after me.
Hey.
So look, you got to be strategic with your time if you got to do scheduling. So maybe your old man might need to take.
Trey, we were discussing Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson didn't marry 2 women.
Right.
That was for a fashion show that he did. He actually, I'm not saying it was no pushback. I guess it was some undue attention coming from it. Mm-hmm. And he came out with a disclaimer like a week later and was like, nah, it was for a fashion show. He didn't get married to 2 women. He
didn't, but I'm gonna tell you something that I noticed when I saw the wedding, and a lot of people don't agree with me. You always got to have one bubblehead. So if it's like a 3 or 4.
Definition of a bubblehead, please.
definition of a bubble head. So if it's a husband and a wife, right? You get the third person or the fourth person, they're not that bright. So if they're not that bright, like you can tell them, man, look, you gonna go ahead, whatever you say, it's got to go. Like and I was looking at the video with Umar Johnson, right? And I said the one that was standing on the side.
Nikki, you got a question. It's called rapid fire. You got questions coming your way.
What?
So a monogamous marriage is useless over 40?
Look, I personally think at some point, but it's not for everybody. I'm not saying it's useless. I'm just saying that we all can get old. We all have things we got to do. If you got an extra wife, she can stay home with you after 40 and then I can travel. It just depends on the individual. I think sometimes people get so caught up in what's mine. Everybody's not built that way. Everybody's not jealous. Everybody is not envious. Some people understand that you can't be a person's everything. Again, most men are not gonna accept it. Most men are not gonna accept a woman have multiple.
So you know I gotta mess with you, right?
What?
So you basing that off some data?
What? Men?
That most men aren't going to accept it, or that's just your opinion?
Let's do a poll, man. We can do a poll when we get off of here. And ask a man if he's going to be okay with his wife having multiples or something. Nah, the first thing they would say is that's a train. That's not a whole situation.
I don't think that most monogamous relationships are useless over 40.
I don't.
I think that marriages, people need to understand why they're getting married. I think that a lot of times, like I said earlier, 2 or 3 times, I think that a lot of people are into this fairy tale, and they get married for love. Just think about what was presented to us on TV about what love is. Well, that's what love ain't. Like you said, you may marry somebody and you don't even like this person after 6 months. Like you despise them, and most marriages.
Damn, quitting 6 months.
Most marriages end in like bitter.
6 months though.
I'm being honest. I mean,
6
most
months?
of them. Lucky I didn't say 6 weeks.
6 months.
Lucky I didn't say 6 weeks. Look, I have never looked it up, but the average marriages don't last more than 2 years.
I have a friend that says it's a 7-year. You know, they call it the 7-year itch. And your starter marriage only, like if you get paid, they call it a starter marriage now because a lot of them don't go past a certain time. Starter marriage might last about 5 to 7 years. Now I think it might be shorter than 7. But
no, and that's another thing, Kenya.
Right.
Like even Kenya, and I'm not disagreeing with how you feel, but even in your statement, I don't think that a marriage or any other individual can complete you or make you feel whole or make you feel happy. Happiness, in my personal opinion, comes from within. And the only thing that a person can do is increase your happiness that you already have.
But you'd be surprised at how many people, when they get married, that other person is their happiness.
This is why I said it's me, Nikki. I did not say it about everybody else.
I'm just saying. And I had a conversation earlier, like what happens when that person is no longer the center of your world, or that person is removed?
You fall out of love.
I think you can still love a person. You just not like all deep with it. I don't. People say fall out of love. I think you.
I mean, and then people may marry people for potential. She has potential to be this in my head. Or he has potential.
I've been married twice, so you talk, and then I'm not the poster person for a perfect marriage, but you show me a perfect marriage, and I'll tell you that yeah. So she got engaged, so she feels like it's not useless. I don't think that it's useless.
I mean, I don't think it's useless either.
I think love is a good thing. But the way that we love, a lot of times people think that they own a person. That person is that end all. And that's why a lot of people, when they get married or they get in relationships, oh, I own you, or you belong to me. And just the thought of that, I think everybody is different. Yeah. She said she don't want to share.
I understand that.
Yeah. But see, that to me is a woman thing too. Most women don't want to. Most women don't want to. I don't want to share. Listen, I just don't want to. I can share the responsibilities of it. I'm not saying like I can share the responsibilities. Like if you want to go to the grocery store, if you want to do the errands for the kids, if you want to clean out, I can share the responsibilities.
So you want a nanny?
No. I might say get out my face because I may not necessarily, but see, remember, I'm only child. I just don't, I think what happens is, and for a lot of people, they start feeling like when they do get married, for the marriages that I know that have not worked, it's because people forget that you have your own life. It's okay that you love your spouse and your spouse loves you, but I feel like people forget that you're still an individual. And a lot of times once people get married, they feel like, oh, you don't have, and I think that's where the problem comes in. You're still an individual, even when you're married, and most people want to shut that down. And they say, oh, well, I feel like it should be this and that should be that. And that's, everybody's an individual. They feel and think how they want to think. But when you're talking about marriage in the traditional sense, yeah, if you want one person, knock it out. I said I like to share responsibilities because I may not, like I said, it's so much that encompasses marriage,
I feel age and maturity plays a big factor. It definitely does. It definitely does. Make sure that you guys put hashtag Crown Rules. We're gonna do the giveaway now. It's interesting how the giveaway works. It'll actually be right on the screen. So all you gotta do is put it once to enter. Hashtag Crown Rules. And like I said, if you win the giveaway, the drawing is right in your face. And when you win the giveaway, just email me at ltalk5600@gmail.com
I just had
in order to enter, in order to get your gift. What'd you say, Nikki?
I just said I had a thought. So everybody's like, what do they say? I feel like I can marry that one person. Everybody's saying that to that one person. I just personally feel like that one person, if you could just say, look, I ain't going to deal with this individual tonight. I'm just going to listen. You go on down the hall because I don't feel like you today. I have a whole different thought process. By the way, I'm single. I'm not married, but I do see why people do some of the things that they do.
Okay. Got a whole lot of people. All right, so we're gonna do the drawing. I'm gonna show you guys how it's done. Very interesting. Go. All right. 6 people so far. Hashtag Crown Rules. Anybody else want to get in there? It's only 6 people. There's more than 6 people watching. Hashtag Crown Rules. All right. You ready, Nikki?
Knock it out.
Okay, Kenya. Okay, Kenya.
Hilarious.
Kenya, email me. Can you email me at ltalk5600 @gmail.com, and I'll get those books out to you as soon as possible. Kenya, you're gonna like those 2 books. Like I said, I've read both of the books. Also, we basically did like an open book club for both books. We did Crown Rules 2, How Black Men Love First, and then we did Crown Rules 1, A Woman's Journey to the Throne, the second time. And now we're about to do Crown Rules 3, Queen, How Black Women Love. We're gonna do that early October. We're gonna start that, and actually we're having a panel discussion next Thursday with 8 women on the panel, and it's gonna be interesting because we're gonna talk about that L word and falling in love and being in love, and what makes you know you in love and things like that. So I know that a lot of times different audiences watch only their show that they like. But I invite everybody to watch that. That's going to be next Thursday at 9 o'clock,
That should be a
8:30
good
or 9
show.
o'clock. It would be a very interesting show.
That should be a good one, especially since I need 5. I need 5 husbands. Can you love with 5?
No, Kenya talk. Look what Kenya talking about. Look at this.
You need 5.
Kenya says, "Send me my prize."
Right, Kenya. Then we got to watch the show.
Kenya, the email is ltalk5600@gmail.com. Once you email me your address, I will get your books out there. It is important to still do things separately. Marriage should not mean control.
Yeah,
You're right. And that's where a lot of things go awry at, is that control. Some people don't like to feel like, why you up over me? Why you lording over me? Why you clocking my movement? And I think as we get older, we want that freedom.
I think that it's important to have, like, if you have a situation where and some people have multiple people in their unions, I think it's one of those things where you have to have a level of trust. You have to be secure. You have to know that that person is it just has to be a level of trust. And I think a lot right now we're glazing over it. But there are people that have multiple partners. And like I said, keeping it 100, I mean, at least they know. With some people out here, they don't know that they got a third person in their marriage. Let's just be honest.
Or a fourth or a fifth.
Or a fourth or
fifth.
I
mean, even we heard the stories of the elders, not in the families that we particularly come from, but you always heard that the grandfather had a whole separate family across town.
Last show.
I mean, it's the truth though.
And they don't know. They don't find out. But again, okay. I mean, I don't want anybody to say, because you'll never know what I'm technically thinking. I'm up here, but I'm just, instead of looking at it in one direction, instead of looking at it in one way, instead of looking at it as a form of control or whatever. Again, a lot of times it's really about the jealousy, and it always goes back to the sex or whatever. And half of the married couples ain't even sleeping together anyway. If you've been married past a certain amount of time. If you've been married past a certain amount of years, like, really, you might as well go on and let them out and get them some peace on the side, because y'all probably only sleeping with each other once a month, maybe twice. What is it, bi-monthly? Quarterly. Like, really? Come on. Have the married couples. I ain't really got time, especially if you've been married for years. We're not talking about newlyweds. We ain't talking about people newly together, whatever. If you got kids, responsibilities, and all these other things going on, you work outside of the home, you got all this stuff. How often are you really sleeping with each other? Come on. I hate when people have conversations, but, she said when we were younger, we seemed to be more selfish.
I don't know about that one. That's an interesting question. I think that now, I think a lot of people are more, I won't say selfish, but like, I'm not going to lie you to my time, my 24 hours is sacred to me.
Right.
So I'm not even going to allow you may be my spouse or whoever, or my job or whatever, or my kids. I need my time.
My time.
You in a separate area of the house. You good. I'm good. I'll see you in passing. We want to watch a movie. Don't talk to me if we watching a movie. You go get the sandwiches and the beverage, but you stay over there.
Yeah.
And then you got some people that feel like they want to cuddle all the time. So I guess it's a matter of knowing who you are first. And then if you do choose to get in an entanglement,
Go cuddle over there. Go cuddle over there. Look, let me tell you something. Go cuddle over there. I think half of the time people don't, you can be in the same house and not be in the same personal space. I'm okay
You know the
with
Erica,
somebody having their own space.
Erica,
Let's say
bring
you
up-
have your own house and I have my own house.
Erica brings up the interesting thing about sex is some people feel like they can't even marry somebody unless they have a lot of sex. They may feel like, this is what I like. I like a lot of sex. And then you may have people that be like, I don't feel like pounding or getting pounded that
But
much.
what if they started off having a lot of sex in these relationships and then the other person just decided they don't want to have sex, or for medical reasons they can't? So let's just say they something else.
Erica said we sound a bit bitter.
No, I'm just saying it's not about being bitter. I'm just saying let's be realistic here. Some people are in situations, and let's say for the sake of sex, they may just want to, like, they may not have sex, or they may not have the same sex drive as the other person. Some people get married and they probably were compatible in the beginning and it may have faded off.
Because
it
actually, if you look into sex drives, women between the age of 30, 38 and 35 and 50, the sex drive is high. And for the men, the sex drive is low. Contrary to when we were younger, where a man's sex drive is high and a woman's may be low. A woman may, for lack of better words, she may not even know her body or know what turns her on, or what makes her have an orgasm.
So wait a minute. So fast forward. So you're married to somebody and you're in that age bracket, right? But you got this wife. I'm just going to throw it out there. So you got this wife and you're like between that age bracket. Let's say you're married. All right. Next thing you know, your wife saying, can she go out and get her a younger man? Like, there are some people that say, hey, look, I ain't doing it. I got to take a pill. It got to be whatever. She can go get a younger man. I'm just saying, because that then they're kind of even, because the younger man, they're this way.
And vice versa. And Nikki, you bring up a point, because this is when, and we're not going to go into to that in this show. This is where they may allow another person into their marriage for that purpose. He may not physically be able to have sex the way that she wants to have sex, and it may be toys involved or whatever. So what happens then?
Look, I've had this conversation with someone before. I think what
Black community changes the relationship, and that includes sex. You're right.
And that has a lot to do with it for women. I don't know about men, but I can speak on it for women. I have a friend, she's on the chat right now. I think if people weren't so worried about diseases and stuff like that, let's just say there was no disease. Come on. A lot of people get married because they say they want to be in something. They want to be monogamous because they don't want to be, out here in these streets.
I want everybody to know that, Nikki and myself, we're not knocking marriage. We're not knocking traditional marriage.
Right.
We're not knocking untraditional marriage. We're not knocking polygamy. We're not knocking any way of life. The purpose is to just have this discussion. We are two people that we've both been married, and we have conversations.
I'm pro-marriage.
We have conversation about it, and it's interesting how you could be at a point in your life where you could be married and not want to be up under your mate all the time, or I think that each individual, at the end of the day, you got to know what you like,
right?
And then if you decide to have a partner, understand what they like, and if y'all ain't on the same page with likes, it will cause serious problems. Like Nikki said, you start out the beginning of the relationship and into the marriage where it's a lot of sex. Now y'all done grew tired of each other.
Exactly. For women, let's Quentin. Okay, so what you just said made a lot. So say for women might start off, she done matched her panties, she matched her bras, she coming into this, that's that real, and that she throwing it out there because this is what, in the beginning of the relationship. Then further along down the line, she might be throwing on her bonnet and her granny panties. What?
Oh, look at the comment.
Yeah, I'm there anyway, so that's gonna be that.
All I can tell you, if you invite me to your wedding, I will come. I will do exactly what you know. I support anybody's union.
I'm a marriage person.
I think that marriages are beautiful. I think that anybody that decides to, like I said, make that business agreement and decide to share their life with another imperfect person.
For a business agreement, they're called
No,
BS.
no, because I have to keep emphasizing it
man.
because I'm telling you, I don't think people realize.
So I'm gonna just be miserable.
No, I've
for a
seen
whole
people say
business
like, "Yo, I'm
agreement.
not getting married to her because she got too much debt, so I ain't gonna marry her because I don't want to take her debt," and vice versa.
You worry about debt. I'm worried about what we.
I know women that won't even date guys if they behind on child support.
I get it.
They be like, he got to get himself together, and he could be paying. He could just be back in the rears. You got women that be like, nope, ain't gonna be messing up my credit. All that type of stuff.
Look, you think you getting taxes back? Not today. Not today. Not if you join
exactly.
With your
no, we got to file separately because you got too much stuff going on with your social security number.
So in that case, let me take a second husband while you get your stuff together.
And Nikki, me and you are smiling and laughing about it, but that's the reality that a lot of us get into. And once we're married, it's like an uh-oh moment, like, oh, I never asked you.
But that husband could be good at sex, so then I can get a second husband who got good credit, who could buy stuff. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That one that got the bad stuff going on 9 times out of 10.
And even that, like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm speaking ill of anybody, but we all have friends or whatever, or know people that do crazy stuff or was doing crazy stuff or stuff that we deem to be crazy. I remember one time a female friend of mine, she told me she had a man for every aspect of her life. This is the bill payer. This is the...
Because she was smart.
This is the standard sex. This is the oral guy. I'm like, huh? And she was dead serious, but to each his own. And this is when we were younger. We were in our 20s at the time when she told me that, and I was quite shocked, but she was dead serious.
So let me ask you, so you're saying that she had somebody for everything. So do people just settle for, like, say for instance, the person has like 3 out of the 5 qualities? I'm talking about at this age. So you say, oh, he got 3 out of the 5 or 4 out of 5, so I'm just settled.
I mean, she had her, the bill guy, from what she told me, was the square. Back then we called squares guys that just go to work and just come home. Then she dealt with she dealt with the street guy, the thug. He was a roughneck.
She probably slammed her against the wall next.
and choked her.
But she liked the sex next.
Yeah, and exactly. And then she had, at the time, the guy she was dealing with, this was a young boy. And I knew her young boy.
That was the fun. That was the fun when he was showing her new
and that's basically what she said. She said, look, we all got kids now. You know what I mean? He ain't got no kids. He young, perfect. He energetic. He
ain't got to worry about closing the door. You can run through the house with him. I mean, next.
Yeah.
So again, the thing about it is men do it. I just think that a lot of people do it. They just don't. I just think a lot of people do it. They just don't. Whatchamacallit. And she's all 5 should have been there. Sometimes you can't get all 5 in one. Let's just say, as a female. Yeah, like what if the person she starts coming home, they was having hot and heavy sex when they first got married, when they first were together. And I mean, she was putting on different costumes, she was matching her paint.
She was role playing. She was doing everything.
Her feet
the
was
secretary
right.
On Tuesdays.
Next thing you know, she putting on bonnets. She got all this, and a lot of women say, oh no, you gotta keep it up. It's very rare that a lot of women keep it up. So now he looking at her like, okay, you was on it, so things die down. I think I could be wrong. You done slipped up, man. Go on, get that man a pass, because you ain't handling your business. I personally, if you come home and you not changing light bulbs, cutting grass, paying bills, doing some of the things, give me my pass. Give me my pass, because I feel like you're not handling your end of the deal. I need a pass. I need an extra one. So guess what? You're not doing the things. You ain't sending the flowers. Let me go find a man that's going to send the flowers. That's going to take me shopping. Give me a pass.
You guys in the chat, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Share our conversation on your social media platforms if you don't mind. This is the best way to allow our show and our channel to grow. Like I said when we decided to do the show, we both have some very unique perspectives. Nikki said, give me a pass. Nikki don't mean give me a pass. Nikki mean I'm jumping on a plane, leave me alone, and don't be questioning me.
No, I mean give me a pass. If you're not gonna do it, give me the pass. Like, come on. You can say I mean what if you're not gonna do it, give me the pass. You can't say anything to me in a relationship, in a marriage. If you're not gonna do it, it's always someone else who will. And that is the final, really, in all honesty. So you can't get mad if you ain't doing it and they step out to do it.
That about sums it up. So, Nikki, we're going to close the show. Is there any final thoughts? You guys in the chat, you guys been great. I always try to say that when the chat is intertwined with what we're talking about, it's always a good show, because we basically can have our conversation without the chat on the phone, and being able to have the chat conversate with us and be part of the show, it makes for a better show. So
remember, Quentin, they can also call in. You didn't say anything about calling in, because a lot of times people don't know they can call in.
Yeah, I'll have that phone situation together. I don't be really putting it up there too much. It is a call-in number, and the next show we do, we'll probably open up the phone lines for a call-in. I don't.
Yeah, because I didn't get a chance to see all the stuff scrolling up, and I just missed something. And I saw where somebody was like, "Oh, men have to give them a reason to want to."
Men have to give her a reason to keep up.
To keep it up.
To keep it up. Exactly.
And I think women have to. It's the same thing. Men have to give a reason, but women have to give the man a reason to want to stay home.
Listen, my ex-husband was sneaky. He tried that with this debt. Nope, nada. He hit it. I kept my account separate. His bus lived off his American Express. Next time I am checking his debt. And that's key. I mean, I don't mean to reiterate it. Nikki makes the face when I say it. This is why at my age today, I say it is a business arrangement, because if you don't know, you love him, you love her, beautiful sex, good provider. But if you don't know and you walk into debt, and you're one of them people that is cognizant on paying bills and on point, or you walk into a child support situation, I'm telling you, a lot of people, that's where a lot of problems occur, because we don't ask these questions prior to marriage, because we like all the sex that goes on prior to the marriage, and then let's do this, and I love you, and let's.
You mean the fairy tale aspect of it?
This is why I mean we have a fairy tale way of thinking.
So get a fourth and a third and a fifth person to help y'all pay the bills, because it's non-traditional, so we can split the mortgage 5 ways. I mean, really? Come on. Split the mortgage 5 ways. And then I can, have my own separate room. They can have 4 other rooms. It works.
With that, you guys in the chat, we won't be having a show next week, because I have some things that I need to take care of. So we'll have a show the following Wednesday, the first Wednesday of the month. So
right.
We appreciate you guys in the chat. I know this could be a touchy subject.
That's my mom.
I know this could be a touchy subject, but at the end of the day, as they say, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy in your situation, make sure that you're happy with your situation
right
before you bring somebody else in your situation and they're not happy about how you're making yourself happy. And that leads to a lot of the misconception that may go on.
People look at it as a business, though.
That is a problem. I love this podcast.
Thank you, Miss B.
We love you too, and we appreciate the support. And like I always tell everybody, I don't take the support for granted. Everybody has a voice, and if you have something that you think that we need to discuss, those that know how to get in touch with Nikki, get in touch with Nikki, and those that know how to get in touch with me, like I said, the email is ltalk5600@gmail.com. I answer emails, and we try to talk about urban culture and urban subjects and what's going on within our community. So with that, until the first Wednesday of the month, we will see you guys, and take care.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Please continue to join us here for conversations on hot topics, interviews with special guests, and our featured programs such as the Poetry Corner, where you can hear dope poets from around the country creating that Poet Cafe vibe, and Crown Rules, our virtual book club on love, intimacy, and healthy relationships. Let's talk. We are everywhere you want to be. Follow us on YouTube at Let's Talk, Facebook at Let's Talk, and on Instagram at Let's Talk 1931. Have a suggestion? Give us a call at 570-795-4283. Or for business inquiries, please email us at ltalk5600@gmail. Let's talk. I water you, you water me, and we go together.